So I've already made a video about the most important habit I've ever made, which is reading 15 minutes a day. If you're curious, you can check it out. But I think the other most important habit that I've made that's basically just as important is I started to meditate. So I'm 22 right now, and a few years ago, I was a college student, and I was really struggling to keep up with my classes. And one of the things I realized was I was spending 7 to 8 hours a day on social media and on my phone. And I realized that if I was able to reclaim my phone time and I was able to put it towards things that would support my goals, that would be much better for me in the long run, and I'd be able to catch up on my studies. And so another thing that happened when I was in college was I took this philosophy class called Technology and Human Values. And basically that class opened up the idea to me of the attention economy. Basically what it is applications like Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever. They're all engineered to take advantage of your brain chemistry, because they're all incentivized to keep you on their platforms as long as possible. And of course, they're all fighting for your screen time. You can only have one app open at once, which means that it's basically an arms race to see who can make the most addictive app possible. Some of the things that they use to do this is, for example, whenever you're swiping up for new information on a timeline, that's just straight up taken from slot machines. And that was just one little piece of information that I learned that really kind of opened up my eyes to this idea of the attention economy. And I realized that I was spending 7 to 8 hours a day on my phone, and that wasn't necessarily my fault. It was just the way that the applications were engineered. So after learning about all of this, I wanted to take back time for myself and take it away from my phone. So this is when I started reading. And as I started reading, there was another habit that I learned about, and it was meditating. So at its root, meditation is just noticing and responding to distractions. So one of the first things you'll learn when you're meditating is distractions will pop up, right? Like if I'm sitting and I'm just trying to focus on anything like my breathing, another thought will pop up. And instead of going down that chain of thought, what you're taught to do in meditating and mindfulness is to just notice it and not try to fight it. So at its core, the goal of meditating is just to notice and to respond to distractions. And this basically trains and enhances your attention as a skill. And I think this is really important because it basically trains your brain against the things that the attention economy is trying to exploit. One of the things that I've noticed since I started meditating is if I'm with someone and they're scrolling through TikTok and I'm paying attention to it, I don't get sucked down the rabbit hole as much as I used to be. When I scroll on feeds now, at some point it just becomes too much for my brain because I've rewired it, and eventually I just move on from it and realize, oh, I'm scrolling on TikTok, or oh, I'm wasting time doing something that I shouldn't right now. Basically, I feel like meditation has become sort of a shield for me against addictive social media. Another thing that I've noticed since I've started meditating is I'm a lot less stressed. One of the things that I used to do was I would wake up, I'd get out of bed, and before even brushing my teeth or anything, I'd go to my phone, which was on my bedside table, and I would just start scrolling on social media. That isn't really the best start to your day because you're immediately flooded with all this information, and it puts you on edge for the rest of the day. But instead, when I started to meditate in the morning, it was a great way for me to wake up, to notice my thoughts, and to kind of have this morning ritual that I really enjoy doing and kind of set the tone for the rest of the day. I would rather meditate and come into the day with a sense of calmness versus being stressed out from scrolling on my feed so much and then going into my day carrying that attitude. And I've personally noticed this because now when I'm in a moment where I'm not on my phone, like maybe I'm making a meal or maybe I'm just taking a walk outside to the train station or something, I take the moment to pause what I'm doing and to just reflect and take a couple of deep breaths. And I think this is all because once I started meditating, I was able to note my surroundings more and to focus on my breathing. And I think that's something that's just really important, especially because everything's so fast-paced nowadays, that being able to pause, I think, is a really useful skill that a lot of people don't talk about. So if you're interested in meditating, I would really recommend to get some type of meditation app that has guided meditations. So I started out in Headspace, which my college was giving to students for free. If you go to college, there might be some mental health resource that has a subscription for you. But besides that, I used an app called Medito, which was completely free. And that has courses that introduce you to meditation and slowly build up your habit. I'd really recommend for you to just start meditating every morning. So for me, I started with, I think, just 5 minutes a day. And it was really difficult at first because it was a really tough skill to learn, just to be able to sit with your own thoughts for that long and not be distracted. But the more I did it, the more I really enjoyed it. And I started increasing from 5 minutes to 10 minutes. And eventually I got to the goal of 20 minutes a day, which I think is clinically shown to have massive mental health benefits. But as always, I encourage you to set your goal really low and to build up consistency first. So that's why I recommend just meditating even just a couple of minutes at first. It's always much more important to start a new habit that you can always achieve and build up from there, instead of setting your goalposts high and not being able to reach them consistently. At the end of the day, I think you just consider giving meditating a shot. It's something that's completely changed my life, and I think it can really help a lot of people. But if you have any questions about meditating, about my journey, or just anything related to digital minimalism, feel free to leave a comment and I'll get back to you. But thanks for watching this video, and peace out.